All right, back at it again. This is Reality Lives with the Ives. I'm Katie.
And I'm Will.
Jumping back into Golden
Golden.
Bachelor.
Oh, yeah. Double frequency.
Yes, episode 5. We in it, y'all. As usually, creme de la creme. Fantastic episode. Gary for president. Let's get into it. Jumping, literally diving right in to the beginning. The gals are galsing. They are frolicking in the pool. They are doing a synchronized swimming routine of sorts, and they are singing, chanting. We don't know, but they're having a gay old time.
Now, I'm probably wrong because as the show's proven,
As usual.
time and time again, I'm typically wrong. But
love to hear it.
It gave me the hints of a Greek dance, almost like a Greek wedding dance, because I was at one recently and I saw one. So it felt like, you know what? This feels Greek.
I am not going to co-sign that because I am unsure. Not saying he's wrong, but I just have no idea what the fuck they were singing. Could be a number of things.
True.
Nevertheless, super cute scene. As usual, all the filler type scenes are impeccable here. Very different from the ordinary Plane franchise, where it's kind of very staged, very forced, little fun scenes. These aren't forced. These women are having a ball together, creating genuine friendships and just having the best time. And it's very genuine.
That's what I would say. Bachelor producers, I highly doubt you saw this coming. If you did, props, good for you. But
you did something right, finally.
One of the beautiful bystander effects of this is because this whole generation grew up without smartphones. You take their phones away from them, they're Gucci. They know how to they know how to have fun with absolutely nothing.
Good old fashioned fun.
Like, I remember when I was a kid and your dad would be like, "Oh, you're bored? Go out in the yard and have fun. Go do something, right? Go figure it out."
And you're like,
you think about this generation is right around our parents' age. And so they had to do that. And so these women, they're like, "Oh, we don't get phones. We don't get to do anything." Instead of just sitting there and you telling us we have to do this to look good, we're just naturally going to have the ya sisterhood all up in here. We're going to do dances together. We're going to play games together. It's beautiful. So
it's real. It's sincere, like I said, and just genuine good times. It is so refreshing and fun to watch a group that genuinely loves each other's company. I think we probably said this last episode, but I think everyone was a little weary of the idea of a Golden Bachelor season because they're like, without all the petty, young, immature drama, is the show going to be good? It is so good. And I wouldn't have guessed that we would enjoy such a pure-hearted show so much, but it just keeps delivering. So let's get into it.
Let's do it. Most unhinged probably comment of the show. So sorry, folks, but this does make me think what we just talked about, that old people probably do better in prison than young people because they don't have phones.
They're also tougher.
Very random, unhinged thought, but just kind of came to mind. So, like you said,
that was so rogue.
I know, right? But hey, let's dive on in.
Well,
we already did.
No, we already dove in. Not getting out of the pool. We're shaking off. We're drying off. Cabana boy, where's my towel? There's one person noticeably missing. I want to say the only person we did not see in that beginning pool scene, could be wrong, but that's just how I'm remembering it, was Faith. Faith, first impression rose, voice of an angel, sweet, soft, kind soul. Honestly, kind of similar look-wise to Leslie, so it's a little confusing. But she's kind of been on the back burner lately. Yes, he loves a brunette. But yeah, she's been on the back burner lately, and she's been feeling it. She's in there eating her strawberries, dipping them in whipped cream. Ladies, you know the drill. She's in her feels, but of course, we know this game. We know the editors. Obviously, Faith gets the one-on-one.
And what's interesting that obviously when you're in The Bachelor, it's super easy to be in our position and you're watching it. And even though you're emotionally tied in, you're still thinking kind of logically. But when you're in there, you're only thinking emotionally. But it's easy to think, oh, I'm not getting one-on-ones. They don't want to talk to me. We're losing our connection. I haven't had
care.
alone time
Yeah.
with him in days or weeks or whatever have you. I'm falling apart here. But the reality is
falling behind.
Falling behind.
Apart.
Well, both probably.
Well, sure.
Yeah,
emotionally.
Yeah.
It literally falling
Maybe
behind.
physically for these folks.
Literally falling apart.
Sorry, that was mean.
Late nights filming. Ooh,
God, those knees and those backs.
These dangerous car rides they keep putting Gary in.
Good God, stop putting Gary in danger.
The Golden Bachelor.
It's absurd. This episode again, he's once again in danger.
Yeah.
You saw him driving through a tunnel, takes his glasses off just so he can actually see while he's driving. Stop putting our man in danger.
Yeah.
PSA.
Stop trying to kill Gary. We love him.
Yeah. But
continue. Yeah. You had a good thought.
I know. But so the reality is when you trust people, you don't need to be constantly interacting with them. You know,
they're there.
I think about this with work, right? Like if you don't talk to your boss that often, or I'm not talking to my people all that often, a lot of times because you trust what's happening. Or even I think about, and this is mostly for guys, not for girls, but like my best guy friends, I don't talk to all that often necessarily because it's like we're there. The trust is there. The relationship is there.
Yeah.
And as soon as I, tap back in, we're immediately where we left off. I don't feel the need to nurture this relationship because it's set in stone. So I think when you're in the game, you forget how it works in that sense. So not to pass judgment, it's just easy for us to recognize that, but difficult when you're in the moment.
Exactly. Not a hot take, excuse me. Great point. Hot point. Scorching. I completely agree, but it can go both ways. Like you said, I think in this exact scenario, yes, I think Faith was a front runner early on. They had that magnetic connection night one, probably the most like steamy physical connection he's had. And in his eyes, I think he was like, Faith's going to go far. I really like her. So I need to check out the rest of these women and see who else is coming to hometowns or to the rest of the journey. But in the same breath, Charity season, for instance, the last season, she, I believe, took Doden King on, I want to say back-to-back one-on-ones, and everyone was shook. And it was literally because she just missed him and wanted to keep hanging out with him.
Yeah.
So it can go both ways, but I would say that is a rare occurrence. And usually, like you said...
Is it a woman versus man thing? Because Gary trusts it, so he's like, I can keep it on reach.
I think it's an age thing more than a gender. He's mature. Okay. He knows... I think Gary already knows who's winning, if I'm going to be real. Gary,
he's probably 90% there.
He's looking for.
Yeah, he's like right there already.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean that those...
you never know what's going to happen. The family
is
going to change
nights,
things.
We'll see what happens. Hey, Care Bear? Oh, I was talking about the sweets.
I don't even know if those are coming, but they are. I heard that they are. Right, anyways, jumping into Faith's state, zip your lips.
She got the one-on-one.
We already said that. Yes, she gets the one-on-one. The women are genuinely jumping for joy, excited for her. Even someone like Susan... God bless Susan. I could watch a whole show about this woman, Queen. If her and Kris Jenner don't do some kind of Instagram or TikTok thing together, huge missed opportunity. Yes. I could actually bet it's going to happen. But anyways, everyone's sincerely happy for her. She's obviously been feeling down for a while, so she needs a win. Gary King pulls up in my dream car, a beautiful vintage Bronco.
It was yellow.
Okay, yeah. We're wearing our gold attire for this vacation.
In a yellow
Ford Bronco.
Yeah. All right.
Anyways, they're driving. Like you said, as a king does, he's like taking off his glasses when he goes
for
to
survival.
The literally for survival.
Yeah, stop trying to kill Gary, for God's sakes.
Yeah, we got that. Don't kill Gary. Sweet, sweet Gary. So they take a Bronco ride right away, chatting. She seems super comfortable with him. Her hair is literally blowing in her eyes, in her mouth. Not an aesthetically pleasing setting for a woman with her hair down, but cute nonetheless. They arrive to what some people would call a dream date and what is my hell. I'm sorry. R.I.P. Kobe. Get the fuck away from these fucking helicopters. But she's super excited, but of course shares with us she's afraid of heights. So the producers obviously
They
did
knew
this
that.
intentionally.
They knew that. Drama.
Not really. I mean, Gary makes her feel comfortable, as a king does. And pretty quickly, they land, not just anywhere, on a yacht in the middle of the beautiful blue water.
Wow.
Literally a dream date. Very cute. Right away, they're on the yacht, they're chatting, they're eating charcuterie, drinking. And Leslie decides to get deep. And I think, it's time. She hasn't had a ton of, like we said, one-on-one time. She knows hometowns are coming. If she gets this rose, she's off to hometowns. It's the biggest rose. So she's like, she almost seemed a little rushed and panicked and was like, I need to word vomit my life story right now so he knows who I am.
True.
So that everything's on the table. So hopefully I can, keep going forward in this process. She shares a little vague, but she essentially shares she's had a really hard childhood. She was, in fact, a homeless teen for a majority of her youth. And she said something like, I did not have a mom and dad. Does not go into details.
Or at least we don't see the details.
We can make speculation. Yeah, maybe their conversation was longer. Exactly. Good point. But she doesn't go into details. We can speculate what she means, but I think she'll probably end up going deeper in hometowns in their one-on-one fantasy suites if she gets there.
Yeah.
So hopefully
maybe like a foster situation or something. Who knows?
Exactly. Yeah, that was giving that vibe maybe, or her parents weren't fit to be parents and she kind of jumped around couch surfing. I'm not sure. But
either way, respect to her, just the willingness to open
how
up.
Strong she is.
Yeah,
and there's a reason for that, of course.
And I think a lot of people are afraid that when they show kind of the I don't want to say damaged, but the difficult parts about themselves,
almost like she's ashamed.
Yeah,
when it wasn't her fault.
Are scared to do that because they think I'll be judged, I'll be seen
damaged good,
and I'll be exactly. But the reality is, we're all messed up, right? And if you're willing to show that, a lot of people are actually drawn to it.
It's endearing.
Yeah, you're showing confidence in vulnerability, and other people are attracted because they want that same thing. So props to her.
Gary, as the gem he is, received it insanely well.
Oh yeah,
you could see the glimmer in his eye. It just made him, dare I say, fall in love with her more. I think that she's up there. She may be the one. But it's so hard because all of these women seem like they could be the one. They're all fantastic.
And what I will say, and Gary's still the absolute king, right? But
oh, you be careful.
I know. I might have slightly controversial thoughts.
Okay.
But
go for it. Give it to
me.
me.
About it. I think just from me reading his face during that conversation, there's a lot of smiling through it, and I think maybe
he was
just maybe
to say.
He does, like struggle. There's a lot of most guys do struggle to like how do I respond? What do I do? And he's so positive all the time, and that's probably like the darkest or like most difficult type conversation he's had in terms of hearing about
this season
trauma.
For sure.
So he's still king. But I watched that scene and I was like, he did good. He did great, arguably.
Well, again, like
didn't
you
do
said,
bad, but
it might have been cut down.
Exactly.
They could have had an hour, 2 hour long talk.
I saw a moment though of like it seemed like difficult, uncomfortable, whatever, but I could be wrong.
Well, they're having like a really romantic, lighthearted, fantasy date, if you will, dream date. And then to drop such a heavy bomb, it was like broad daylight on a yacht, glitz and glam. He might have been a little taken back, and I think that he's a respectful king and just didn't want to say anything to invalidate her, to make her feel less than or anything.
It's tough. You're on TV.
I think he was keeping the positivity up, being like, it's okay. That doesn't change anything.
So the wheels in his head are turning, like, how do I respond to this positively? I don't want to be seen as a bad guy.
No matter what age it is, you're gonna be taken aback by that and be cautious with how you proceed next. I genuinely think he handled it the best he could, and that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
So, yes, after that, they proceed to a steamy hot tub and proceed to make out for a very, very long time. It immediately brings me back to last episode with Leslie in the hot tub. Hot tubs are a common occurrence here, but I already was in my head like, ooh, Leslie's not going to like this. So that kind of brings us to the end of the date. Faith is back in the house. She, of course, gets the one-on-one rose. So she is locked in, going to hometowns. And we find out only 3 women are going to hometowns. That's half of who's left.
Bomb dropped.
So somebody big, a contender, is going home. So that was interesting. So the whole episode.
You could have been something. He was a contender. Rocky.
Anyways, Faith is back in the house, has her rose, obviously has this glow and air about her. She's giddy, she's happy, but she's keeping it close to the chest. And the women keep asking her, what did you do? How was it? And she's taking notes on the whole Kathy Teresa debacle that's been going on. The only drama we really had. I say drama loosely because it wasn't that serious. But, she's kind of like, oh, no, you guys don't want to hear. No. And they're like, no, tell us, please. So she's like, okay, well, it's one of those things where people are like, oh, no, I couldn't. Oh, if you insist, blah, 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 and she's obviously super happy and excited. So she's talking about, we drove and then we got in this big helicopter, landed on this beautiful yacht in the sparkling water. There was champagne. We were in a hot tub. And they cut to Ellen in an interview. And she's like, okay, we don't want to know all that. I'm sorry, Ellen. Someone's getting a little jelly, which understandable. As we know, Ellen has already shared that she's falling in love with him. First woman to do so of this season. So her feelings are in it. She's getting more and more bothered as the other one-on-ones happen because hers is just getting farther and farther in the distance. Yeah.
Yep.
And then, when she says the end, Faith says about the hot tub situation, they cut to Leslie and her face is like, because she thinks they just had this special moment, which they did. But then she's, of course, thinking like, oh, well, we were making out in this hot tub, having this steamy romantic moment that I feel like means something. But now he's just going and doing it with Faith. So I'm sure that was a little upsetting to hear. That would be hard to hear.
Is he just like a big hot tub guy? Is that like his thing?
No, The Bachelor literally has a jacuzzi that they fly to different locations. It's like, or travel around. It's a known thing in the Bachelor universe.
I'm just saying.
It's this barrel jacuzzi.
If we see any more.
It's been 2 dates. There's a million hot tubs in every season.
Oh, Gary, you hot tub. You
could tell this man knows nothing about The Bachelor because real ones know hot tubs are predominant features in every season.
We'll see. Okay. All right, hot tub Gary. I see you. I see you out there, buddy.
I'm just saying, if I were to generalize one of these people over something and call them like, okay, swimming Susan, you'd be like, wow, generalizing Susan, putting her in a box. You'd be so life coachy. Anyways, moving on. Obviously,
life coach.
It is group date time. Exciting group date because they go somewhere that we actually were just at literally 3 weeks ago. The Santa Monica Pier.
Oh, yeah. I think it's the Santa Monica Boardwalk?
Boardwalk, Pier.
Probably both.
We're
cool.
From the Midwest. Who knows?
Yeah, we actually had the exact same date because they were on the Ferris wheel together, going up.
Played games.
Seeing the sights, which, by the way.
Trying to feel like kids again.
Get out there. It's fun.
Yeah, it was cute.
What they didn't show Gary trying to do was the hang by the bar thing that I contemplated doing while we were out there.
Well, I assume Gary did not do that.
That's what I'm saying.
Or they absolutely would have showed it.
But they did show him doing the water shoot game, which you and I did. And I won.
I knew he was going to say this.
Beat me and my mom. I don't know who else I beat, but guess what? Brought home.
Literally a kid and a mom.
Hey, there was 4 of us, and I was a champion.
And he couldn't let the kid win.
I got you the pink dragon. You won the pink dragon? I got you the pink dragon. That's how it works.
I wanted a dragon. Rogue that I chose pink. Very fun place for a date in general. Many mentions of feeling like a kid again, getting back to our youth. They're playing games. They're eating snacks. They're zipping around on roller coasters. it almost feels like there's many one-on-ones in the group date because there are 3 conversations, at least 3 that they show us, that are pretty serious. We see Leslie, emotional, opening up to Gary, letting him know she is also falling in love with him. Her feelings are growing really fast, really deep. She seems emotional about it. Very sincere, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
And Gary, they hug and he's whispering. They literally gave us subtitles for this moment, which I have a hot take on that in a second. Ooh. Interesting take. They gave us subtitles of Gary whispering in Leslie's ear saying, "You're my girl." You're my girl. Initially, I'm like, wow, he's giving her some confirmation so she can relax that, like, right now she's going to win.
Yeah.
She's his girl. Like, she's the one. Don't worry about it. But then I put my reality TV cap on.
Dun, dun, dun.
Very rarely do we get anything in subtitles, even if it's hard to understand. They wanted us to see that. If Leslie won, why are they showing us that? It's almost like they're showing us that and making sure we heard it to try to throw us off the scent, you know, because they try to edit it so that it's not obvious that the lead isn't winning. Failure. I know.
Mm-hmm. There's a term for this.
I still think Leslie might win, but it's interesting.
I forget what this is called, but
it's off the set.
There's like a term I think specifically for this. Like
red hair.
Is that it? That might be it.
Sounds right. Feels right.
Oh,
sound off in the comments.
Yeah,
maybe a golden herring.
That was chuggy.
Says the man who said we should wear yellow shirts. Moving on.
They're gold.
So, serious conversation, interesting ending. We get Teresa also expressing her feelings. She's falling for him as well. These are 2 new women stepping into the love ring. And then we have Ellen, who, of course, has already expressed those feelings last episode, but deepens it by saying, like, she's falling really hard, really fast. And I almost think that overwhelms him a bit.
Well, I think
And he's also exhausted. They've been at the fucking fair all day. It's dark outside.
This isn't a fair word, but she almost started to bring in not quite a threat, but like a...
emotional manipulation.
Yeah, like kind of like an
I'm falling really hard, Gary.
Thing.
Don't you hurt me.
Well, not just that. And I really wish I remember exactly what she said, but she said something else and sort of in a way like there was just her conversation with him had an underlying tone of
desperation. No, I'm kidding.
No, like
kidding. She's
you like better do this almost because I already told you I was falling for you. We have this great connection. Like you better not do me wrong. Like there was just like a
interesting.
It's watch it again. Try and pick up on. See if I'm totally off base here, or if you hear too.
She's just a woman in love in the moment, knowing the stakes are so high. Again, Faith already has a rose. There's only 2 more roses left, and as far as they know, somebody on this date's getting one. So I think it's a moment of desperation. No. Everyone's like, I need to get my feelings out now because this might be our last chance.
Well, she was just doubling down, but yeah, I agree.
Sure. Well, she said it first, so she's got to say it again. And, it's levels. She was falling. Now she's falling hard, and, you have to kind of up the ante.
It was like pothole versus like a well.
Almost like she's taking what she thinks are the necessary steps. Like, okay, I said I'm falling. Now this next date, I'm going to say this. I think it's interesting. But I think it was
I don't think she's calculated, but yeah.
Says the man who just said he was like, or she was manipulating him. Interesting take. You were looking for the word. I gave you an example and you said it. It fit.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Slayer.
Maybe not.
Moving on. So they're all back at the fair together at this point, and it's time for the group date rose.
Dun, dun,
Tensions
dun.
are noticeably high. Again, hometown rose, biggest rose yet. Gary is distraught. He is not okay. He is either very emotionally torn and confused and or just fucking exhausted from a day on the pier. And he literally picks up the rose and it seems like he's going to say someone. And then it's like a movie. He slams it back down and he's like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And at first I thought he was going to be like, I can't do the show and have one of those moments where he like walks away and cries to producers because they keep showing us a scene where he's having like a breakdown.
Yeah.
But the scene is clearly at the mansion and they're not there. So I'm like, interesting. But he just simply says, I can't do this right now. It would be an injustice to all of us if I didn't sleep on this and take this really seriously and give this my time and consideration.
Yeah.
I think some of the women were disappointed. Leslie's face was like shook because she was just told she's his girl. She's like, obviously I'm getting the rose. And I will say I thought for sure she was getting it. And if he gave it to somebody and it wasn't her, that would have been interesting. I think she would have had a breakdown.
Probs.
She looks like she's hanging on by a thread. And actually, we haven't really touched on this, but she was talking in one of the interviews. It might have been during this date, actually, so not too late. But she was saying that she's getting a lot of old feelings come back up. And she's thinking that she's having these feelings because it's reminding her of past relationships where she has not always had, she's not always had the best luck in love. She's never felt really secure, supported, safe. She expresses later that she's been cheated on. So seeing her relationship be so strong at the end of last episode, and now to see that he's clearly having a really tough time with this decision, meaning other relationships are also really far ahead, it's making her a little insecure. And that just goes to show you that no matter what age you are, you still have those same battles of insecurity and confidence and just wanting to be chosen. And I really liked that because it just reminds you that these people are fucking real. We keep saying how perfect and awesome and mature everyone is, but when it comes to love, people are vulnerable. So it was nice to see that. And sad.
Being human's hard.
Yeah.
No matter what. And I think all of us out there need to remember that and give everyone just a little bit of grace, because there's a lot of times where people kind of go off, but life's hard. So
life's hard. Wear a helmet.
Oh God.
But yes, no group date, Rose.
I was gonna say, yeah, I got you. I got you from here.
Whoa. Yeah. Carry on,
group
King.
date, Rose. Gary King shows his strength, shows his character.
Yeah,
says, not tonight, not today, ladies.
Not today, Satan.
Not today.
I wonder if he asked the producers or just did it without asking first. Like, was that an in the moment thing? Because again, these dates take like 12 hours.
I feel like he
or did he pause, go talk to them, and be like, I can't do this? And
they were like, told somebody who's probably going to do that or might do that, and they're like, hey, brother,
seems like a respectable
go for
king.
it if you want to.
Yeah.
But so now we're back at the final rose ceremony.
It is not the final rose ceremony
of the episode.
The only rose ceremony of the episode that happened.
You got me.
At the end.
You got me, you son of a gun.
Again, this man knows nothing, John.
No, nothing. Well, you'll find out very soon how little I know. So we start off right, and we already know our one gal.
Faith.
Yeah, I was going to say her name.
You were pausing. I was trying to help you out.
For dramatic effect.
Wow.
Thanks for the help.
Drama, because we didn't already know she had a rose.
So we know she's got hers, right? But now there are 5 women left and only 2 roses. That's a tough one to look at. I know, right?
That means 3 are going home.
We're sitting there and we're both talking and we're both like, all right.
Who's going home?
We know his girl. His girl is getting that rose. And who gets the first rose?
Imagine if she didn't.
It would have been great, but
that would have been horrible.
She gets it. And we knew.
Leslie called first.
Leslie, yeah. He's not about to call her my girl and not give her that one.
My girl.
So, comes on down. And now you, as the audience members, you're like, all right, we've seen the last few weeks. We love Susan. She's hilarious. She's amazing. But her and Gare, not there.
Queen.
Sandra, similarly.
They know they're going down.
Absolute queen. But
they're here for the ride.
I'm gone, right? And then it's down to 2. And I think for many of us, it felt like a toss-up. Yeah, because I think they both are seen as strong. They both probably have, like some imperfections.
Sure. In the beginning, I mean, Teresa got the first one-on-one. She was up here, front runner for a while. And then the last episode or so, it was all about Ellen. Mm-hmm. He told her he feels the most himself with her. So that's insanely telling. Then when she first opened up about her feelings of falling in love, he said, I'm right there too, or something like that. Kind of saying like, he couldn't obviously say the love word. You don't want to say that. But he kind of reaffirmed like, ditto. So that was interesting. So it was like, wow, one of these women who we thought could have been the one are about to go home, aka be crushed. It's getting real now, folks.
Real.
Now, I think other women were upset in the past, but these women are in it to win it, have real feelings. Yeah.
Breaking.
Final rose goes to.
And this is where, call back to last episode, where I'm always wrong. Is who did I think? Who did I think was going to win it all?
Everyone thought that the last couple
Ellen?
episodes.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Who doesn't get the rose? Mofo Ellen. It goes.
That was confusing.
to
So
Teresa.
Teresa got the rose.
Teresa got the rose. Yes. Teresa got the last rose, like she's gotten every episode for the last
Yeah,
4
that-
episodes, because Gary just wants to give her a heart attack for whatever reason, or an aneurysm. I don't know
is
why.
she gonna
but-
win? And he just like is doing that because he thinks she can hit
It's the
people?
ultimate
It's
tease.
very weird.
If it is, it's the ultimate
That
tease.
would bother
yeah.
me. That would make me very
and-
insecure.
And you saw us come in because Ellen was more like a best friend to Gary. And I think
well,
as
I
much as he
said the
tried,
romantic spark wasn't as strong.
yeah, he tried his best. And I think even at that age, no matter what, you still think I need that aspect of it. So
That's the girl that he could be like best friends with, but he wants that romantic like zest, passion for the rest of his life.
we should circle back
Understandable.
to last episode to see who's top 3. I think you got the top 3, probably 3 for 3, realistically.
Yeah, weird.
This gal. But it was sad. I mean, Sandra and Susan both were, hey, give me a hug. This is great. Thanks for the experience.
Susan literally, he's like crying. You know, every rose ceremony, this man's breaking down.
Oh,
because
yeah.
He's hurting almost as much as these women are. This is really hard for him. He's a really nice guy, you can tell, and he hates to hurt these people because they're
Yeah.
all incredible women who deserve love, obviously. So when Susan hugs him, again, Susan for president, she literally walks up and goes, "Where's that smile?" Like trying to hype him up and cheer him up. And I'm just like, Susan is a classy broad, man.
Glass out there.
Love. But again, we knew that those two were leaving. Last to leave is sweet little Ellen, and he asks to walk her out and literally tells her, yours was the most difficult decision. And she is a woman of few words. I think she's kind of in shock. She almost seems a little angry. You know, upset, betrayed, which is normal feelings in that moment, I think.
Yeah.
So she's not saying much, and he's kind of trying to like say sorry and explain himself. And she's kind of just like, I got to get out of here.
I think her exit was reaffirming to Gary that she wasn't the right choice.
Yeah.
Even the way that she
wants to
handled
get deep.
it wasn't that it was handled poorly,
No,
but
she was
I
upset.
think at that point in his life, like just any sort of anger, angst, whatever, he doesn't have time with or time for. So
Well,
I think
let's not act like behind the scenes he's not.
no, he's
an
probably messed
emotional,
up
real
too. And not
human,
that
too.
there's anything wrong with Ellen, but I think he just realized
No.
with the way that it ended and the exit probably made him even more confident in the decision. But it was sad.
Heartbreaking.
It was.
We were devastado. And again, in the sadness is a silver lining, which is the best part of the show. We touched on it last episode. She's in the limo, SUV, getaway car. And she's having a little interview, exit interview, whatever may have you. And she's obviously noticeably upset, but she literally says, I actually feel really happy because I feel like this has given me the confidence to now go out and date and know that like there's great guys out there.
I love that for
Every
her.
girl that leaves, we're like, no, sweet angel. And then they surprise us and just prove that with maturity comes wisdom, because she could sit there and sob and break down and be like, why me? I'm going to be alone forever. But she flips it over, uses the high road, and says, wow, this actually was she literally says, one of the best experiences of my life, which makes me want to cry right now. It's so sweet. I just love that these women are getting this fun adventure when they, are probably super bored in a routine for the last several decades. So not only was it an amazing experience for her and kind of revived her as a woman, she's now got hope to go out there with more confidence. And I think that's all you can ask for. And again, that is why this show is the creme de la creme. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So
Couldn't agree
gotta
more.
wrap it up. Always got to do our predictions. Hometowns are next week. We have Leslie, Faith, and Teresa. front runners. This is going to get interesting. They, at one point in time, any of them could win.
Yeah.
So, and I think that he, like we saw in the preview, he's falling in love with all of them. Leslie, I want to say the producers are fucking with us with that My Girl, little subtitle thing, but
then I'll go Faith.
Ooh, what? You really don't like Teresa. She reminds me of the Joker because her makeup's a little smudged. She's always got a little fucked up lipstick, little dark eyes. Her hair is always a little kooky, and she's always just like smiling and wide eyed. Not saying she's a mean Joker, but she's giving she's giving chaotic energy. So I'm really excited to see her family and see if like her kids are kind of like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I don't like Teresa, but I feel like I just know Gary well enough that both Ellen and Teresa are just not on his wavelength. He's just like
a little too wholesome.
Like a hippie. No, he's like a hippie. He wants he needs that chill, relaxed. Like no.
See, I get what you're saying. I think that like Faith and Leslie have like this rocker chick.
Well, that's like a little physical attraction, though. I think
just their personas are like that too. I mean, Faith plays the guitar. Leslie dated fucking Prince. Is clearly like a rocker, bikery chick, sexy dancer. I mean, come on, hard to beat that,
man. Yeah.
If she does not win, she may be the next Bachelorette, which would be awesome.
That'd be interesting.
Or Joan, like we said last time.
Like you said, though, it was a good episode. Should be interesting to see which prediction comes up correct here.
Yeah. So stay tuned for next week. We will continue through the end of the season. As usual, like, comment, subscribe, hit us up on Insta, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Let us know if there's anything you want to see from us next. Appreciate the support.
Take care, everybody.
Gold.